Ready? Thank you. बुके से अगर दे दे
Namaskar. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this 2-day national seminar on nurturing minds, nourishing souls, integrating Indian knowledge system in pedagogical disciplines. A warm welcome to all our distinguished guests, faculty members, research scholars, school teachers, project directors, students, and participants who have joined us for this thought provoking and transformative event. Getting educated, acquiring knowledge, and expanding the mind is central to all disciplines of every culture, which our national tradition call by a word in Sanskrit, tapas. The tapas of knowledge. This tapas is the source of inspiration behind every achievement. Sa-adhyaya, pravachana, learning and teaching are the supreme tapas, says Taittiriya Upanishad. We come together to explore the very essence of education, connecting the wisdom of the past and exploring the very present and future. Our goal is to delve into the rich heritage of Indian knowledge system and reflect on how these ancient traditions can be integrated into the modern day pedagogical practices, ensuring that education is not only impart knowledge but also nurture values, ethics, and emotional intelligence. This seminar is designated or designed to inspire meaningful dialogues and insight, contributing to creating a more holistic, inclusive, and culturally rooted educational experience. In the next 2 days, we will hear from experts in the field, engage in discussions, have collaborations, create ideas, and bridge ancient wisdom with a contemporary education. We will explore integration of Indian knowledge system into curriculum designing, innovative teaching strategies, and psychological insights that can be drawn from the Indian traditions and our application into across all disciplines. Our esteemed resource persons will share their expertise, offering both theoretical framework and practical aspects to be incorporated at the classroom situations. This will be an ample opportunity for you to participate and collaborate with others, engage in discussions, presentations, and collaborative exercises. We have designed the interactive format to encourage the exchange of ideas and to help us collectively envision how we can apply what we learn here to our classroom situation and teaching practices. As we begin, let me take a moment to thank each one of you. Your presence and participation are invaluable. I'm confident that together we will have an impactful and inspiring journey these 2 days. The lighting of the lamp symbolizes the illumination of knowledge. I now request Professor Sudhakar from IFLU, the NCT member. I also call upon Professor T. Mrinalini, Head, Department of Education and Department of Lifelong Learning, School of Education, Osmania University. Our correspondent, Reverend Sister Olivia Joseph. Our principal, Professor Dr. Sister Mary Kuti, and the coordinators of this program. We also call upon the Vice Principal, Sister N. Antonia, to light the lamp.
दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा
Thank you. We now will have a prayer song, which is the verse from Rig Veda and composed to the tune of Tagore's song. Music is magical, music is meditation. Let us reflect.
संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता समानुमन्त्र समीति समनी समानुमन्त्र समीति समनी समानं मनसः चित मेषा संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता समानीयापूति समान हृदयानिव समानीवापूति समान हृदयानिव समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा सुसहासति संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना जानता संगच्छत्वं संवदत्वं संवो मना
Thank you, students, for leading us in prayer. This song is a mantra from Rig Veda, and we truly follow it. In this seminar, we need to work upon it. Let us progress together in harmony. May our purpose be the same, and may our intentions and aspirations unify us. As we begin with our welcome address. I now request the torchbearer of this institution, Professor Dr. Sister Mary Kuti, Principal, to deliver the welcome address. The chief guest for the program, Professor B. Sudhakar Reddy, the ICSSR Director, is unable to attend this program as he is attending a very important meeting with ICSSR.
William James, American author, said, "From the Vedas, we learn a practical art of surgery, medicine, music, house building, under which mechanized art is included. They are encyclopedia of every aspect of life, culture, religion, science, ethics, law, and cosmology." Good morning and a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Professor V. Sudhakar, member NCTE and ICPR, Government of India, former Dean IFLU, Hyderabad, subject expert in education by UGC for IKS, much more, part of the college in different academic progress, who is associated with us more than 3 decades. We are honored to have you, sir. We are privileged to have Professor T. Mrinalini, Head Department of Education, OU, and convener of EdSET, Telangana State Council for Higher Education, who had collaborated with us by your presence and sharing in different meetings and programs as university and state government nominee. We are pleased to have the presence of Sister Olivia, our correspondent, faculty members from different institutions, school teachers, research scholars, postgraduate students, media, and all our in-house participants, both faculty and students, for the 2-day national seminar on Nurturing Minds, Nourishing Souls, Integrating Indian Knowledge in Pedagogical Disciplines, a joint venture of ICSSR SRC and St.Ann's College of Education. Thank you, sir and madam, for being available to us, and hope your presence and reflections will enlighten us more on this theme. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you for this 2-day national seminar. This seminar is an occasion for us to explore into the richness of Indian knowledge system and travel how the ancient wisdom can be effectively incorporated into modern education to nurture all-inclusive progress both in mind and heart. As educators, we are assigned with the responsibility of influencing future generations. The world today requires more than just academic excellence. It calls for individuals who are emotionally grounded, culturally aware, and capable of critical thought. The Indian knowledge system, with its vast storehouse of wisdom rooted in harmony, ethics, and balance, offers us powerful tools to enrich the educational experience, nurturing not just intellect but also compassion and character. The central theme of this seminar is to bridge the gap between ancient Indian wisdom and contemporary pedagogical practices. In doing so, we aim to create educational environments that are more inclusive, thoughtful, and aligned with the unique cultural and intellectual heritage that India has long offered to the world. Integrating Indian knowledge system into our teaching disciplines is not only a way to preserve our heritage, but also a means to address current challenges in education, such as fostering creativity, inclusivity, and comprehensive development. The significance of this seminar lies not only in the knowledge that will be shared, but also in the dialogues that will be intellectual and practical. I encourage each of you to be actively participate, share your own experiences, challenge your existing perceptions on education. Together, we can push the boundaries of conventional teaching methods and create learning environments that are holistic, dynamic, deeply rooted in values that promote the overall well-being of our students. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here today and for availing your time, knowledge, and passion to this important seminar. I am confident that these insights gained from this seminar will inspire us to think more deeply about the aim of education in shaping not just knowledgeable individuals, but also compassionate and responsible citizens. I recall the words of Will Durant, late American historian. It is true that even across the Himalayan barrier, India has sent to the West such gifts as grammar and logic, philosophy and fables, hypnotism and chess, and above all, numerical and the decimal system. India will teach us the tolerance and gentleness of mature mind, understanding spirit, and a unifying, pacifying love for all human beings. India is the motherland of our human race, and Sanskrit is the mother of all Indo-European languages. She is the mother of our philosophy, of our mathematics, mother of ideals embodied in Christianity, and mother of our democracy. Mother India is in many ways the mother of us all. Thank you and look forward to a fruitful and impactful seminar.
Thank you, sister. That was inspiring. St.Ann's College of Education presents Anadi Arohi, a theme tableau to stimulate the thought process of Indian knowledge system integrated into pedagogical disciplines, which is ever evolving.
St.Anne's College of Education presents Anadi Arohi, representing evolving pedagogy, blending pedagogy of the heart, our philosophy with Indian knowledge system.
Namaste. We have come from the West to know about your Indian knowledge system. Our country has heard tales of its wisdom.
Welcome to our Gurukula Pathshala. We are delighted to have you here. Today, we will explore the 4 pillars of Indian knowledge system: Drishti, Parampara, and Lokika Prayojana. Let's begin our journey together.
pillar is drishti or perspective. It embodies the understanding of Indian culture, science, and values. It's about how we see the world and our place in it.
यथा दृष्टि तथा सृष्टि यथा सृष्टि तथा स्थितिः यथा स्थितिः तथा लयः सर्वदृष्टप्रतिष्ठितम्.
When knowledge is applied for the benefit of the world, it is truly meaningful, bringing prosperity to all.
Imagine ancient sages observing the cosmos, developing profound insights into life and existence. This reflects their deep contemplation and the wisdom they gained.
Our second pillar is parampara or tradition. This refers to the transmission of ancient knowledge from one generation to another.
परंपरा पावनाय ज्ञान विज्ञान संयत आणि यज्ञान बद्धेन मार्गेण सत्य संयता.
Tradition, pure and sacred, combines knowledge and wisdom, leading by a faultless path, guided by truth.
Our ancestors ensured that valuable knowledge was passed down through generations. This moment showcases the importance of preserving and transmitting our rich heritage.
Our final pillar is Laukika Prayojanam or practical utility. This involves applying our knowledge to meet local needs and improve daily life.
ज्ञानं यदा प्रयोगेन लोकहिताय सर्वते तदा तत्सर्वदा सार्था सर्वसमृद्धिदायकम्.
When knowledge is applied for the benefit of the world, then it is truly meaningful, bringing prosperity to all.
Think of these petals as the elements of drishti and parampara. When we add them to our bowl of life, they represent our values, practices, and experiences. Laukika Prayojanam is about using these insights to create practical solutions that addresses local needs.
How do we apply the wisdom of Drishti and the continuity of parampara in our daily lives? It could be through sustainable agricultural practices, holistic health approaches, or innovative educational methods that are rooted in our ancient knowledge, yet adapted to contemporary challenges.
Imagine using ancient agricultural techniques to promote sustainability in farming and applying traditional medicinal knowledge to modern healthcare. These are just few examples of how we can bring Laukika Prayojanam to life. The Indian knowledge system through Drishti, Parampara, and Laukika Prayojanam offers a holistic approach to understanding and improving our world. The Gurukula Pathashala has equipped you with these values. And now it's your turn to expand, share, and apply this knowledge.
we are applying the wisdom of sustainable agriculture to ensure our practices are eco-friendly and productive. Traditional craftsmanship, we preserve our heritage and create valuable practical items. By integrating traditional health practices, we promote holistic well-being and address modern health challenges.
कैमरे को भी डालना।
With our communities. Dhanyavad.
Recall the moments when the darkness sets in and everyone instinctively reaches for a lamp. The Indian knowledge system is akin to that lamp, illuminating not just our physical surroundings, but also the depths of our thoughts and the essence of our being. This enlightened self, much like lamp, spreads light far and wide, dispelling darkness and ignorance. By preserving and celebrating our heritage, while seamlessly integrating this wisdom into modern challenges, we become the bearers of this eternal light. Do you not agree that together we can create a profound and lasting impact on our world?
While teaching the pedagogy of the heart, within the wisdom we impart, lives the essence of knowledge, a timeless art. From the roots of tradition to the sky of dreams, flows a river of learning in endless streams. Our classrooms blend ancient wisdom with the present light, guiding and serving with love, day and night. In every anite heart, the Indian knowledge will stay, steeped into the pedagogy of the heart, a beacon of truth, never to stray.
Let us continue this journey of knowledge and understanding together. Thank you for being the part of our Gurukula Pathashala.
Thank you. That was phenomenal. The essence of Indian knowledge system has reached the participants very effectively. Thank you once again. Before we move on with the program, we would like to honor our guest with floral bouquets. I request Dr. C.H. Nirmala to present bouquet to Professor V. Sudhakar, NCTE member, Dean, IFLU. Thank you, sir. I now request our Vice Principal, Sister N. Anthunamma, to give away the bouquet to Professor T. Mrinalini, Head, Department of Education, Department of Lifelong Learning, former Director, EMRC, former Dean, Faculty of Education, School of Education, Osmania University. I request Mrs. Hannah Rachel to hand over a bouquet to our correspondent Reverend Sister Olivia Joseph. I request Dr. Veenalata to give away the bouquet to our beloved principal, Professor Dr. Sister Mary Kutte. As we delve into how Indian knowledge system can enrich contemporary education, Professor V. Sudhakar, an eminent educationist, will discuss the essence of nurturing holistic minds and souls in educational environments, setting the stage for the discussion that follows. I request Dr. Jyoti Victoria to introduce Sir.
Good morning to all. Respected correspondent, principal, Professor Sudhakar sir, Mrinali madam, and all the faculty members from other colleges of education, esteemed guests, dear colleagues and staff members. It's my honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today's national seminar, Professor V. Sudhakar sir. Professor Sudhakar sir is a distinguished scholar and educator with a remarkable career spanning various facets of education and public policy. Sir currently serves as an advisor to the Center for Innovations in Public Systems at the Administrative College of India in Hyderabad. His unwavering commitment to improving educational practices and policies has made a significant impact on countless lives across India. Professor Sudhakar sir held numerous prestigious positions throughout his career. He served as a professor of education and dean of School of English Language Education at English and Foreign Language University, IFLU, where he also acted as a director of the University of Studies and Research. His contributions to IFLU were further highlighted by his membership in the Executive Council. Sir's professional journey began as a lecturer at the College of Education, Andhra Mahila Sabha, before moving to his alma mater, Osmania University. There he excelled as a professor, head, dean of the Faculty of Education. In the corporate sector, Professor Sudhakar sir played a vital role at Wipro Technologies in Bangalore, where he served as a head of the Center of Excellence, Mission 10X, and principal of the Wipro Cambridge International Center. Sir's academic accomplishments are matched by his commitment to social justice. He has received prestigious awards, including the National Merit Scholarship from the Government of India, an award of eminence in teacher education from the Indian Association of Teacher Educators. His educational background is impressively diverse, with a PhD in education and postgraduate degrees in physics, psychology, philosophy, and counseling. Moreover, Sir is closely associated with organizations that support children in difficult situations such as orphans, migrant families, and children affected by commercial exploitation. He serves on the boards of various institutions catering to individuals with disabilities and has collaborated with national bodies like NCRT, NCTE, NAC, UGC. Happy to know Sir is nominated as subject expert and going to attend workshop organized by UGC on revision of syllabus and integration of Indian knowledge system on 5th November. Professor Sudhakar Sir is also a consultant for prominent international organizations such as World Bank, Department of International Development, and UNICEF. He shares his extensive knowledge as a visiting faculty member at various universities and played a key role in designing curricula for diverse educational programs across the country. Today, we are fortunate to hear from Sir as Sir shares his valuable insights on nurturing minds, nurturing souls, integrating Indian knowledge system in pedagogical disciplines. A warm welcome to you, Sir.
Good morning, friends. Honorable Sister Olivia, Sister Mary Kuti, distinguished sisters and faculty members and students. I don't have any words to friends, I don't have any words and languages to speak. The performance, students' performance today, it's so spiritual, and it is taking us to a different world. And you might know, more than 200 years ago, beautiful families from Europe. Can you hear me? Couple of sorry. Thank you, sister. Thank you. So I am just speaking about history 200 years ago. Couple of families accompanied with some beautiful sisters have come to Secunderabad. When I read that story, real story, how these sisters have entered into Hyderabad, what kind of difficulties they have faced in this new culture, but they have come with a mission a noble mission, a great mission to educate and to look after people in this region. And I wrote a small account of it in one of the magazines of St.Ann's College long back, maybe in the Golden Jubilee event. I request all of you to read that small piece. Whenever I hear about them, about that, their journey into India and their mission, totally I move, I see some kind of transformation in my heart, in myself. And because of their contributions, the manifestation of their contributions in India, expansion of their mission, the fruits of it, we are experiencing it here today. This is one of the institutions established by them. There is a noble cause behind it. And from the beginning, this institution has been working hard and doing commendable, contributions in the area of education and teacher education. Not only this college, but there are so many sister schools, sister institutions. It's not easy to establish such an institution. For me, they're all beautiful sisters. Beautiful sisters are here. Beauty is so divine, all of you know. The manifestation of beauty you can see. The same thing I have experienced in this performance of students. On each and every face of every student, there is something special that in their silence, the way they are looking at, the way their gestures, an entire performance, Really, I must congratulate. Not only congratulate, I must salute the wonderful performance and so many thoughts have come to my mind when I have been watching it. So many ideas have come to my mind, reminding me that you are insignificant in this world. You are nothing in this world. Every word they have uttered, the glance they have given to all of us, the gaze, whatnot. Thank you very much for giving such wonderful experience to me. Friends, let me confess sincerely that I am not an expert in IKS. Because Indian knowledge systems, India itself is a very difficult country, very complex country, like many other civilizations. If you look at hundreds and hundreds of years of history before Christ, we don't know many things. Still it is a mystery. Some parts of history someone recorded, certain texts are available. Some traditions are still alive. Just like Natya, Bharatanatyam, still alive, that kind of rich tradition. People who documented Abhinav Gupta, Bhartamuni. Bhartamuni's interpretation was given by Abhinav Gupta. And many scholars from Kashmir to South India, you know. It's a very complex country. The geographical image which we have today, that is a very restricted kind of image. But India, if you just go back and think about the various princely states, go back 2000 years history, 3000 years history, and some people talk about 10,000 years history. There were civilizations, there were cultures which are very strong intellectually. People, Indology is a very important discipline of knowledge. They study seriously about the historical accounts. Pre-Vedic period, for example. Most of us, we have some knowledge about Vedic period. But pre-Vedic period, how the world was. And now, Indologists have been saying that that was much more intellectually vibrant. The languages. There were many languages, multiple languages, even in pre-Vedic times. All of us, we recognize the importance of our tradition. In India, there is no one single tradition. There are multiple traditions, multiple cultures, multiple religions. The beautiful country. That's why Dharmapal, one famous social scientist, wrote a book with the title Beautiful Tree, taking the ideas from Mahatma Gandhi. That book was published. Constitution of India today we have. Why? Because some people say that we had such kind of complex, multiple, secular, diverse, pluralistic civilization. It has come out of that. It is a product of that. Constitution is not just borrowed from the West, but it has roots, secular roots. Because of colonial intervention, we have a different kind of knowledge today. Most of us, what we are studying in our textbooks, by and large, it is a colonial knowledge. But in your genes, in your families, in your culture, you have intellectual roots of India. Colonial European intellectual models, they have defined knowledge in a restricted way. What is knowledge? We study in epistemology, what is knowledge? The way we define knowledge is very narrow. What you observe, what you measure, what you evaluate, what kind of evidence you show, that becomes knowledge for Europeans. That is a very restricted knowledge. See, in Europe also, they had wonderful civilizations. Middle East, Europe. Humanistic civilizations were existing even in the entire world. They have slowly disappeared. And after 16th, 17th century, there's a different kind of world, which we call it as modern world. So the three students who have come here, representing the West, they are the modern students. But if you go back, even in Europe, you have rich intellectual traditions, humanistic traditions. Homer's Iliad will speak, the classic texts of, which have come from the Europe, they speak about such civilizations. What is the relevance why we are talking about IKS today? Suddenly people started talking about IKS across the India. National education policy also emphasized on IKS. Why? Because we are witnessing a different kind of world today. The world, if you just step out of this institution, you see a different world. A world of market everywhere. A world of capital. A world of neoliberal market. You have DMart opposite. You have so many malls across, a different kind of culture. So I tell in many forums that education is not happening just in our institutions. The dominant education, the powerful education is happening outside. It is happening in the malls, it is happening in social media, it is happening outside. Education institutions are namesake. We are just like white elephants. What we do is little things. But construction of consciousness, it is happening outside. That outside is so dangerous. We are not recognizing even today. So dangerous that it is totally destroying everything, all human relations, every day. And people are becoming individualistic and hyper-individualistic. Hyper-individualism is the character of the present day. Relations are disappearing. New desires. New desires are entering into our consciousness. When we go to mall, outside, new ideas, new desires, which are destroying your own self and soul, destroying the civilization. So, if we recognize the importance of protecting our relations, preserving our culture, tradition, human values, we need to go back and explore the intellectual cultures which were existing 2000 years ago. Across the cultures, not only in India, across the religions, not only in Hinduism, but every religion is going to offer something to us where human relations can be revised and can be established. Friends, India is from the beginning India is a new word which has come maybe 100 years ago. We have been using this word, for the last 100, not more than 100 years, but before that, there were some other words which were depicting the geographical terrain of this entire area. During freedom movement, certain new words have come into being to bring people together. Okay, anti-colonial struggles, made some kind of effort to bring people together, and new language has emerged. So we need a different kind of knowledge that we are recognizing now. You know how serious the mobile technology is, how it is spoiling our children. Children are becoming so hyperactive. We have so addicted to technology, Somehow we have to think alternative, go out of this. And education, when you think about education, the dominant education which we have been training our students, even in colleges and schools, this is very limited education, very narrowly conceived education. You need to cross boundaries. You have to go beyond it. For example, if you search some important texts which were educational texts in ancient India, most of you might have heard about Panchatantra. Panchatantra is a beautiful story. It was translated more than 100 languages and has gone across the world and influenced many other cultures, and many other texts have come into being. When the king, when he was not satisfied with his children's performance, children's upbringing, because he was very serious about to look after his own country, his own kingdom. He was worried about that and was spending a lot of time in thinking about that. But he could not concentrate on his children. But one day he realized that somebody has to take over after his death. Then he was interviewing all the 3 children, talking to them. Then he realized that these children are not competent to take up that assignment. Then someone suggested him in his court that call Vishnu Sharma. And there was a dialogue, beautiful dialogue between the king and the Vishnu Sharma. And Vishnu Sharma accepted, agreed to educate the 3 children of the king. And when he took these 3 boys to a forest, and he started compiling stories, wonderful stories. And some stories which were transmitted through oral tradition, because that time there was only orality. Knowledge was transmitted through oral speech. So he took stories from abroad and took ideas from the native indigenous cultures and authored wonderful stories. Most of you are aware. They are all available in bookshops. If you have not read, please read again and again. You get it is a pregnant text. You get lots of ideas in that. You see, IKS is not in philosophical schools. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Yoga, Vedanta. We have, Buddhism, Jainism. There are 9, people say there are 9 important schools of philosophy. IKS is not that. IKS is in our culture. IKS is in our families, embedded everywhere. If you read Vishnu Sarma's Panchatantra, every story you find another story. And story within the story. Madam was, sister was discussing with me in the morning about the storytelling, the importance of storytelling. These stories fire imagination. Education is imagination. Right? If you don't imagine, you are not a student. Institution, so-called institution, should develop that kind of imagination. But unfortunately, the colonial system of education, it kills imagination. Killing imagination. This is what happens. But every story carries with it. Every word is a world. That's what some linguist has said. Every word is a world. Word in speech. When I am uttering a word, in that utterance, there is a divinity. You might have heard about a famous language philosopher of Kashmir, Anandavardhana. He wrote a very important book called Dhanyaloka. And when I was asked to speak on Anandavardhana's Dhanyaloka in one of the seminars in Europe, I was doing a lot of research, Then it is a very surprising to you. There was one father, Christian father in Chennai. Still he is alive. He did his doctoral thesis on Anandavardhana, and it was published by universities in German. And I went to him, I spoke to him, I met him, I took his thesis. It was published in the book form. May not be available in the market, but you need to, it's very difficult. It is only available in Germany. And I started reading the text. See, word carries with it. Every word carries with it some kind of meaning, and it's the word carries meaning, and it is associated with a non-meaning. There is some space which it doesn't say. He did a lot of work on speech itself. There's a classic text even in linguistics in many universities across the globe. Anandavardhana's Dhanyaloka. It was translated into many languages. Speech is so divine, we call it as Vani. Vani means my Andhra Mela Sabha secretary's name is Vani, you know. Vani means speech. Speech is so divine, you know. Saraswati, Goddess Saraswati. So friends, when I speak to you, my relation with you is, if I believe that I have some kind of soul and I am in talking to the soul, this relation for me is a spiritual relation, always. So in schools and colleges, it is not instrumental relation, mechanical relation. This has come from our so-called IKS. IKS itself is a limited word. I don't want to use this word, actually. But unfortunately, it has become the official word because the government of India also uses this word. But we need to go beyond this. Knowledge is not everything. No? Education, relation, my mother's life is important to me. See? The way she spent her, her childhood, my mother, how she got married, had children, and how she lived. You might have read Toni Morrison's book, In Search of My Mother's Garden. The beautiful experiences, each mother, the wonderful experiences. They are all, so humane experiences, so divine experiences. All such experiences children bring to the class. So always our engagement with the text, with the children. When I am speaking, I am producing some kind of text. And when you are listening, you are creating another text. There may be 200 students here. 200 students are creating 200 different texts. See the beauty of, the language and the and the intentions of mind, intentions of what I am speaking here, and how you decode these intentions, how do you, interpret these intentions. Please, there is no one truth. This is what ancient Indian wisdom also speaks about. There is no one single truth. There are multiple truths. There is no one single text. There are multiple texts. There is no beginning. There is no ending. Some people even today ask, where did it begin? Originary question do not have any meaning. This kind of wisdom has come from, our own culture and our own tradition. See, when you read a text from ancient Indian text, within every text there is another text. If you read Mahabharata, Ramayana, the way they narrate different stories in Bhagavad Gita, every word has a multiple metaphors, multiple meanings. Why I am saying this is, take any word. That word, when you look at, if you want to understand the word's meaning, you need to look into dictionary and that will refer to some other words. And this kind of journey and some other words, again you have to look into the dictionary. Again it will refer to something else. This is recursive. This journey is infinite. That is the beauty of language. This kind of wisdom has come from our ancient, philosophical traditions. So this intertextuality which is there in our, not only in the text, in the written text, but also in the oral text. When you interact with villagers, when you interact with different people across the country, you understand, how people create different texts, different stories. And in the process, what happens when a text comes into being, when the text gets absorbed in a culture, and when that culture interacts with another culture, another geography, these texts undergo a lot of transformation. This is what happened with our Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita. You might have heard a famous linguist, A.K. Ramanujan, not mathematician Ramanujan, but the linguist. He is no more today, but he was working in MIT and Stanford as a professor of linguistics, language studies. He wrote a book, 360 Ramayanas. How Ramayana in Thailand, how Ramayana in Laos, Japan. The stories are totally different. There may be some kind of connection. So you see the beauty of the ancient texts, how they have taken different shapes. This is not only an intertextuality, but this is also a kind of spirotextuality. In the process of interaction, in the process of, you generate a new text, new story. And some Thailand Ramayana, recently somebody was circulating on YouTube. I have seen, wonderful. It's a different kind of story. Rama, Sita, some characters are main characters, but the other characters, other cultures, wonderful. How this kind of, the spaces are emerging. How the spaces emerge. And all such kind of intellectual spaces which emerge in the history, unfortunately, we killed them with English education, colonial education, modern education. It's not only killing happening in India, even in Europe. This modern education, which is very dangerous education, which defines knowledge, education in narrow terms. So friends, we need to transcend that kind of narrow boundaries. Pedagogy, when you say pedagogical disciplines, what is it? Pedagogical discipline. What is a pedagogical discipline? For me, every intellectual tradition, if it is intellectually strong, it is pedagogical. It is pedagogical. That's why Wittgenstein talks about doing philosophy. Wittgenstein does philosophy pedagogically. There is a pedagogical construction of the discipline. Otherwise, disciplines cannot survive in the history. When you talk about liberal disciplines of science and social sciences, humanities, so-called astronomy, and whatever disciplines we have in India, all such disciplines, all they are pedagogical. There is an inbuilt pedagogical structure. Friends, I don't know where I am. I have been but certain things we have totally marginalized, what I feel, human values, morality, ethics. respecting others, listening to them. Listening, you take just listening itself. That's a so divine process. We can't listen even today the vibrations of nature because our ears have become totally changed. So how can my ears can grasp the vibrations of nature? I don't listen my own colleagues what they speak. The dispositions, the mental attitudes have become so habituated. We have become so strong not to accept, not to listen. Right? So education, so-called education, has become like that. It is becoming habituated. For us, knowledge means only this. For us, relations means only this. We are moving in that kind of direction. So now we need to start thinking, how to listen, how to accept others, how to establish relations with people, how to see beauty in my friend. The moment you start realizing that there is a beautiful soul in everyone, your entire life undergoes change. Entire bhakti movement of 16th, 17th century, Sufi movement, Christianity in various forms. When you are talking about pedagogy of heart, where is our heart? So we need to build the entire system of education on the foundations of morality and ethics, human relations. So for that purpose, what the India can offer, other civilizations can offer, we need to explore. So I request all of you, please don't stop here. Continue your journey, intellectual journey, reading stories, reading novels, understanding cultures, understanding people, bringing them into the classroom, into the dialogue, debate. Because civilization sustained their civilization because of dialogue, debate, and discussion. If it doesn't happen, then you can't see future. To see future, you need to make an argument. Okay? That's why Amartya Sen talks about in his book, Argumentative India. Wonderful book, which everyone must read. How India emerged as an argumentative country. So these are very important components. If you go to a village, every village has some tree where villagers sit and discuss. There was some kind of culture we had earlier. Now you don't find. All such trees disappeared. So we need to think seriously about how to create spaces for dialogue, debate, and discussion. See, when I read Upanishads, long ago, there was a king called Janaka Maharaj. In his kingdom, he was such a king, he encourages all kind of discussions, debates, and dialogues. One day he made an offer. There was one person who is going to come into my court. He was addressing his people. He used to hire so many pandits and give a lot of space for them to think, to read, to study. That was the culture. Maybe I am talking about 500 years before Christ, maybe 3000 years history, back history. Then one day he said, someone is going to come to our court and all of you be ready to have a dialogue with him. If you win, I am going to offer so many gold coins and cows and etc. etc. He offered so many things. Then everybody was serious and they were all sitting like you. And somebody came. He was a big scholar. He defeated many scholars across India and entered into this court. This story you find in Upanishads. And this person said, I am scholar. I know everything. I can answer anything, whatever questions you ask. Nobody can defeat me. Then king said, there are so many pandits. You can ask questions. Then the session started and people were asking number of questions. Every question he answered. Why I am saying this is, among so many sages, monks sitting there, one wonderful, beautiful lady has come. Her name is Gargi. One lady has come and she said, this Pandit's name was Yajnavalkya, who came from outside. Then she said, because she studied under him once upon a time, then she addressed him, Yajnavalkya, can I ask you some questions? See how that kind of culture, you just imagine a world which existed in our country like that. And Gargi came and was asking, series of questions. And Yajnavalkya answered one by one, one by one, one by one. And the kind of discourse which happens between these two people, intellectual discourse, is so fascinating. She was asking lots of questions, cosmological questions, teleological questions, metaphysical questions. Yajnavalkya was shocked, surprised. He was saluting her. Why I am saying this? This was the culture which was existing. Debate, discussion, dialogue was happening. People were encouraging across. That is the intellectual foundations of our country. We need to preserve it. We need to bring back some of these things. I don't know how we do that, but all of us collectively, you all will be here for some more years. I may go shortly, but you will be here. You have to do very good work. And I wish you all the best to participate in that democratic dialogue. Wish you all the best. Thank you very much. I thank Madam for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Actually, I have prepared something else. I have made some notes. I want to see and speak to you, but that has disappeared, and something else has come in. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I wanted to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to Professor V. Sudhakar, sir. The insightful and enriching session you delivered on Indian knowledge system, your deep understanding of the subject and clarity with which you presented, it was truly inspiring, sir. The way you highlighted the historical significance, cultural depth, modern reference, Sir, all the divine experiences, importance of traditions, and is a need for transmission of knowledge. IKS is everywhere. IKS is around you. IKS is in family. And how to create a space for dialogue, because word becomes world. Wisdom from culture, whether it is written or oral text from our culture, we have to importance to this dialogue. Thank you very much for highlighting the beauty of Indian text, sir, and also reminding all of us that there is a need to transcend narrow boundaries of modern education. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. That's truly inspiring. We are really grateful to listen to you with all the anecdotes, all the but to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, respected dignitaries and esteemed participants of the two-day national seminar on nurturing minds, nourishing souls, integrating IKS in pedagogical disciplines. I'm here to present a concise summary of the day's activities and also to extend my heartfelt thanks and gratitude. The national level seminar on integrating IKS in pedagogical disciplines exhorts us to be rooted in our culture and tradition. This is an attempt by our institution to recognize the valuable knowledge passed down through generations by integrating indigenous knowledge into curricula, enriching pedagogy, and thereby nurturing cultural sensitivity. We commenced the two-day national level seminar with a prayer song invoking Almighty's blessings, followed by lighting of the lamp, symbolizing the illumination of knowledge and wisdom. Professor Dr. Sister Mary Kuti, our principal, extended a warm welcome to the esteemed dignitaries, delegates, and participants of the seminar. A thematic representation of the seminar in the form of a tableau was presented, depicting the enduring legacy of ancient wisdom, reminding us to reclaim India's rich intellectual heritage. The keynote address by Professor V. Sudhakar, member NCTE and ICPR and former Dean and Professor of Education at the English Foreign Language University, set the stage for the two-day seminar and also enlightened the need to promote IKS within contemporary higher education systems. Sir's diverse educational background spanning across various disciplines including philosophy, psychology, physics, and education has given us an interdisciplinary insight and a holistic understanding. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for your valuable message, taking us back on a journey from Vedic period to modern times, emphasizing the beauty and the significance of Vani, the word, both written and oral. And for the delegates, I'm sure the seminar shall help you to create an intellectually driven platform to integrate IKS into pedagogical disciplines and also to identify a few strategies and also best practices which we can employ in our future educational endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah. Today we had the privilege to hear from Professor V. Your inspiring presence, we would like to present a small token of gratitude. Irikutti to present on behalf of St. Anne's College of Education. Thank you. It's already move for the tea break. 10 minutes. You can, students can have your tea in the hall itself.
All the students are requested to go to Anand Bhavan for tea break. Okay? Anand Bhavan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We have amongst us Professor T. Mrinalini, a prominent educational leader and former Dean of Osmania University. Will lead this session on integration of Indian knowledge system into teacher education curriculum. I request Dr. Veenalata to introduce Madam.
A very good afternoon to each one of you all. In an increasingly changing and uncertain world, the significance of preserving In an increasingly changing and uncertain world, the significance of preserving and imparting knowledge systems, particularly those rooted in the rich cultural heritage of India, cannot be overstated. Being global citizens, one needs to be rooted in one's own culture and tradition. Today we are joined by Professor T. Mrinalini, an expert resource person to educate us on the integration of Indian knowledge system into the teacher education curriculum. When I started to think of a short introduction, I truly was at a loss of words that could describe Professor Mrinalini, her vast global experience in the field of education. Professor Mrinalini, an educator to the core, as can be gleaned for accomplishments that I have tried to capture from an impressive long list that includes professional accolades in tenured positions. Madam has held positions like Head Department of Education, Osmania University, Head Department of Lifelong Learning, Director, Educational Multimedia Research Center, former Dean, Faculty of Education, Osmania University, and ma'am was also the convener for TS EdSet 2019-20 and the recently held 2024 also. Madam is the coordinator for the School of Education under the scheme of Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviya's National Mission on Teachers and Training, a resource person for various FDPs and refresher courses at ICSSR on research methodology. Ma'am has chaired sessions at national and international conferences and seminars. She is an educational advisor, author, publisher, writer and trainer all in one. In her capacity as a lecturer, she teaches philosophical foundations of education, curriculum development, yoga education, evaluation in education, to name a few, to the UG and PG candidates at Osmania University. As a certified teacher, Professor Mrinalini has extensive teaching experience. Apart from her regular classroom teaching, Professor Mrinalini is a publisher of numerous academic books for students and teachers. She is also a guide to many PhD and MPhil students. Let me tell you that Professor Mrinalini is a state government nominee of our governing body and also an expert nominated by Usmania University for our Board of Studies. No doubt this introduction merely scratches the surface, so I will let the session speak for itself. It is truly an honor, madam, to have you address and enlighten us on the topic integration of Indian knowledge system into the teacher education curriculum. We welcome you, ma'am.
A very good afternoon. Approaching afternoon. I know this session is constrained with the time. Already the next speaker is sitting there, and inaugural got little delayed, so I cut short. Don't worry, I'll try to minimize because you know the topic that was assigned to me before I really say about the audience, the intellectuals, dignitaries sitting on the dais and off the dais, and all the audience and my teacher educators, teacher fraternity. It's really wonderful to be with all of you and learn. Right in the morning we had wonderful, choreographed tabula, or I don't know what you call it. So it was wonderful. We learned many things about IKS through that. Sir also given a good narrative on that. I don't want to again take that chance and repeat something differently because he has done an excellent appreciative note on that. Thank you very much for that beginning note for this today's IKS. And the topic was really given to me, is known to all of you because it is integration of Indian knowledge system into teacher education. Is not a new area because last revision when 23-25 revision happened, I think you all have acquainted with what is Indian knowledge system, and in this third semester you have been implementing and really transacting in the classrooms. So in that context my relevance becomes little irrelevant, rather speaking whatever I speak it becomes little irrelevant because you are already familiar with the system, with the IKS, with the contents that were designed and given in the curriculum. So you are all familiar with that. So I'll just a little deviate from that and then start giving something connected to this IKS because as you know, like sir was already mentioning about this IKS. If you just take that, you can switch down. This is the metaphorical representation of Indian knowledge system. Somewhere I picked up this pictorial which gives you an understanding about what actually is Indian knowledge system. It includes everything. Like sir was referring, it's not mere Shad Darshanas or philosophies or Vedic knowledge, or most of us have a misconception and certain apprehensions that Indian knowledge system means Vedas, Indian knowledge system means Vedic knowledge and systems of philosophy and only Sanskrit kind of things. These are certain apprehensions amongst all of our minds. Then the Ministry of Education, which has opened a cell for Indian knowledge system, and also subsequently UGC made it mandate that everywhere in all courses across the disciplines, across the courses, whether it is professional course or UG, PG, especially they keep mentioning on UG, PG courses, so there it should be a mandated course, at least of 2 credit course or 5 credit, 4 credit course, whatever it is according to the convenience. But they mentioned in the UGC guideline, I'm not going to read all those guidelines. So in these guidelines they mentioned at least 5% of the credits that are given to the whatever course we are doing. Suppose if I have 80 credits or 40 credits, whatever credits I have for the course, amongst that 5% should be dedicated to IKS, and within this 5% about 50% should be application related to that disciplinary knowledge. So this is what is a kind of formality that was mentioned. But apart from that they said number of modules, number of discourses and courses that they were designed by many IITians and many institutions like Sanskrit academies, central universities. So across India, this kind of activities are extensively happening, and even MOOC is offering lot of such courses on Indian knowledge system. So this is where we all can really get acquainted with various interpretations on Indian knowledge system and various connections that we can get from our roots of, Indian tradition, culture, knowledge, whatever. So this is what is a kind of a misconception for us. Then added to that is the folklore. As sir was rightly pointed out, about the culture, about the practices, about all our ancient, whatever lifestyle we had in the earlier times, whatever practices we had in the social arena or anywhere, whatever is happening, it is all Indian knowledge. So knowledge in terms of empirical knowledge, experiential knowledge, lots of such kinds of knowledge we have accumulated. Many a times we say Indian knowledge is like encapsulated science. It's a tradition encapsulated science. Indian tradition is an encapsulated science. Many people ask us, where is the evidence for that? It is all theoretical. How does a theory come without empirical evidence? So this is what is a kind of a misunderstanding or a gap in the understanding about Indian knowledge system, thinking that it is not scientific, it is only a tradition, it is only cultural, it is only practice that is happening in the society right from so many thousands of years that we have been practicing it. So when it was practiced thousands of years, it has become a tradition, it has become a regular practice, rather it has become our life and it has become a part of our everything. We have become that. Like if you see in India, anybody, whatever they are doing, it has become a part of our culture, has become a part of our body language, part of our food delicacies, part of our everyday activities. That's how we have really made this whole Indian knowledge as an integral part of human life and humanity, and all those values, all those ethics are reflected in these practices, whether we talk about empathetic values or whatever moral values. These are all embedded into this tradition, this custom, this behavior, this all what we are is our Indian knowledge system. So it includes folklore, it includes tribal culture, it includes our medicinal, ancient traditional medicinal practices, or whatever forest products we have, whatever forest, kind of treasure that we have, medicinal values that we have, all that they used to practice. I was told there is a village even today. In this village, there is no doctor. Nobody will go to a doctor. Everybody is familiar with what happens with their body and what is the herb they need to take. So they just go pick up the herb and then treat themselves. So this is the kind of awareness, sensitivity towards our cultural, application. Somebody were giving in the tabula in the morning, application. So the application, it is applied knowledge, rather our Indian knowledge system is more of applied knowledge than mere, textual knowledge. So whatever we see, the kind of narratives, interpretations, whether it is Vedic knowledge, Upanishadic knowledge, Itihasa knowledge, Puranic knowledge, these all knowledges, they are connected. They are connected somewhere in the historical epochs. It's not something mere imagination. It's something which is just happened. So that has become a narrative, that has become a story, that has become a kind of a literature, that has become a literary, kind of depictions. Time and again, they have been writing, they have been narrating, they have been, really presenting it like a wonderful kind of a part of our everyday life. So that is where we cannot disconnect ourselves from Indian knowledge system. It is what we are is Indian knowledge system. So when we talk about teacher education, no doubt we have been doing it, not today. I think long time back, we have already integrated this Indian knowledge system through our philosophical foundations, through our sociological foundations, or even morality part of it we have taken care, pedagogical aspects we have taken care. But that was more of, as sir rightly pointed out, more of Anglicized, more of colonized kind of activities we were doing, curriculum we were designing. Now, all of a sudden people started talking, and thanks to our Prime Minister Modi ji, who made an attempt to really make us to reflect and react and respond to this call. So we are all, in the journey of reaching out to Vikasit Bharat 2047, creating back our status of Vishwaguru. Hope we will do that in this journey of at least creating an order of teachers with this kind of eye case, tuned mind, reflecting back, rediscovering, reinventing what has happened in the past, maybe 5,000 years. Much more than that. We know only little things. People say Gita was there 5,000 years back, it was written. And Vedic knowledge, you can imagine what has happened earlier to that. All this whole lot of these things, if you start imagining, knowledge was an integral part of our life. So that knowledge which we lost with the invasions, whatever has happened, and they have really dismantled it. People say a person came to India from Britain and he went length and breadth across India, and he said, went back there and recorded in the minutes what Sir said Dharampal has recorded in all his 5 volumes of Beautiful Tree, Science and Technology, Panchayat Raj System, like that. He wrote 5 beautiful volumes where there is a recorded evidence from the minutes written in the British Museum. So there they have mentioned it, this person mentioned, when he came to India prior to British invasion, he said there is no beggar, there is no unemployed person. Literacy was very high in the south, more than 90%, and north little less than southern region. Every village has a patashala, there were teachers, women teachers were there in the schools, they were all learning. There was no illiteracy, there was no ignorance, there was no unemployment in India, because we had a culture of occupations, we had a culture of liberal arts, where we had our own self-reliance, what Modi ji again coming back to Atmanirbhar Bharat he wanted to create. So this vocationalization, Skill India, Make in India, Made in India, all these are connected to our liberal arts curriculum, where we are talking about 64 kalas, not only 64 kalas, Bana Bhatta mentioned, Lalita Vistara has mentioned about many more, 586 occupations and liberal arts we had in India. They used to practice and they were not in need of any government employment. That's what we are looking forward. And our students are trained in that fashion, tuned in that fashion, that they should get an employment. There was no need of any kind of such employment. They were all entrepreneurs. So that was the culture, that was the Indian knowledge. It was a family tradition, it was a family knowledge, which was transferred from generation to generation through observation, through imitation, through oral instruction. This is the kind of tradition we had. If you see the Vedic culture and Vedic tradition, even the folk culture, how it transmitted from generation to generation through the pedagogies of Shravana, Manana, Nidhi, Dhyasana. This is all known to all of us. It is not simple what we hear to these words, but it is much more deeper. It is a kind of meditative process where they really have that whole intensive, ingrained knowledge in their minds and in their hearts. They were having that knowledge. It was transferred from generation to generation. That's why even Nalanda burnt all the treasure by people. Still, this oral tradition made us to restore back our knowledge. And many archives, architectural evidences and temples, lot of temple technologies. If you see this Vedas connected to Vedangas, connected to Upanishads, connected to, Puranas, there is a kind of a lineage of knowledge which is being depicted in various forms, interpreted in various versions. That's how people could remember in the form of stories or tales, we say. So this kind of tales, even a common man, a farmer, a so-called in our language, illiterate, they were highly knowledgeable persons, highly experiential persons who used to transfer this knowledge through stories, through tales, through narratives. In the villages, when they sit across and talk to each other, there used to be a transfer of knowledge through their own tradition, whatever. Many a times we feel these old people, the so-called our elder generation, whom we belittle thinking that they are not educated, so-called literates, but they have so much of experiential knowledge. They can tell you there is a Garbhopanishad which talks about the fetal development, but this lady knows, she has neither read Garbhopanishad nor read about the medical science, but she knows what is a fetus, how fetal development happens. Similarly, anything, whether cuisines you take or whether a festivity you take, whether you take a puja or a mantra, this is all science which has been transferred in a very, very simple way, so that they will not forget about it, they will not feel it as if it is something they have to learn. It has become just a part of their daily routine. So they do puja, they do anything that they are doing. There is a scientific, kind of systematized knowledge was set in such a fashion where it can take you without thinking about whether it is science or physics or what kind of science is it. These all things they have not said, but it was passing on. The energy was there. All that is physics. What is that happening is physics. What is that happening is bioscience. What is that happening was all different disciplines of science. It was transferred in a very smoother way. So it was going on and, transferred from generation to generation. So they know experiential knowledge, and they are much experienced, and the kind of energy that used to be created when you say a mantra or a yagya, yaga, whatever you are doing, there is a physics that is there. Now lot of research is happening in IITs. They are doing on Om mantra recently. They have gone, ISRO has discovered Om is there in the space. They could discover, these kind of things now happening, but these were all written there. These all texts have already revealed this kind of knowledge. These revelations were already said to us in various formats, in various interpretations and literature. It is available with us. So we were not able to understand because lack of knowledge in the language, whether it is Sanskrit, Pali, or whatever languages, classical languages then existed. The literature was available in those languages. It was not known to us, and we were really moved away from Sanskrit language. So much of the literature was available either in Sanskrit, Pali, or some other languages, which was really, really done away by us. So this is where we could not really reach out to that knowledge. We could not really understand the interpretations and understand in between the lines what they are trying to express and all those things. So if we take one text and start doing research, it takes time, maybe ages it takes. So that is the treasure that is hidden inside of each and every verse that you see. So that is the beauty of Indian knowledge system. How do we connect to that? How do we understand it? How do we interpret it? This is all a serious research now happening, but we could have started this journey many a times. We think right at the independence we could have started moving our journey backwards. Probably we would have arrived at a point where we could have little rediscovered, little reinvented what we are, what we were in the past, and much difference we could have made to this world of knowledge, and we could have already established as Vishwagurus. However, it is not late. By 2047 at least, my whole submission to my friends, teacher fraternities, please start doing lot of serious research in this area. Take one small text or script and start doing some kind of research. Connect to modern language, modern literature, modern science or modern technologies, modern pedagogies, whatever are available now, there is a link to that and much more advanced to that. So many people say there is 8D technology, 8 dimensions they used to look in the past. Now we can't see more than 3 dimensions. So that is the level they have reached, that is the level of technologies they have. Lot of discussions are happening about Mahabharat, augmentative realities, virtual realities, whatnot. These all connections they are talking about. And intuitions and revelations, these things we can't even understand what kind of this knowledge, how do we reach out to this kind of knowledge. So this is all, lot of confusion when you see the whole texts and scripts. Take one verse, the whole day lost. And you can't even really understand and fix where you are. You can't understand. So that is the depth, that is the in-depth knowledge that is being spread across through these scripts. And they have very secretly, very nicely encapsulated them, made the children to memorize them, remember them forever. So their minds are like, all Vedangas, Upavedas, make them like the repositories, like, their mind is like a dictionary. Shabdakosh is in their mind. Scripts are in their mind. There is no need of any library, external library still they had. So there is no need of anybody connecting to them. They can really be the knowledge. They are the knowledge sources. They are the power of knowledge. So that's how they created the knowledge to remain forever and pass on from tradition to tradition. That's how oral tradition has taken such a beautiful space in this world of knowledge in India, especially in Bharat. We don't call, India was given name by somebody. Bharat is our name, which means Bhu starts, the very root word Bhu meaning knowledge. It is, I consider it as knowledge, I consider it as radiance, I consider it as power, I consider it as the energy. So that is the power of knowledge, power of energy, which is being transferred in India from person to person and also transferred elsewhere. Many people give lot of narratives, how scholars went out of India, translated them by learning so many languages in Parsi and other languages, and they have translated them and given them, and they have really, some of them were killed. These are some narratives we read somewhere. So they were killed. So the knowledge was owned by them. That's why you see, as sir said, Panchatantra translated. So many. Europe evolved late. So when the stories were first here, then naturally these were only transferred. These were only taken by them. Lately evolved these all cities. Of course, we are not belittling or neglecting their knowledge. Yes, They have done it, and many papers are coming up, publications are coming up. They are saying in Nyaya philosophy what it was said, in Vaisheshik philosophy what it was said. They are trying to really acknowledge the knowledge which is already there, which they have taken as their Nobel Prize or patents they are taking. So these things are there. So how we take this knowledge? So basically when we look at, go back. First one, I'll share one narrative. This lady we are calling to in our conference also, Vadadi Kavya, she is working on Vimana Shastra. So like that, many people are working, but these are all not enough. So why it is more relevant when we say integration of Indian knowledge system into teacher education? Because teachers are many. Teachers can go anywhere. Teachers can reach out to any heart, any number of students, generations by generations. If we are sensitized, if we are, sensitive towards our knowledge, and we will be the torch bearers to take it, as a mission on a war footing level. If we all teachers start understanding this Indian knowledge, and how do we put into our pedagogies this whole lot across the disciplines, across the subjects, across the, all these subjects, how do we integrate? Like mathematics is there, then Vedic maths is already there. When physics is there, what kind of, connections are there? Everywhere, yoga, Ayurveda, Unani, whatever you have, all these traditional medical systems which are there, those things can be connected. So like that, let us create those kind of connections. So across the disciplines, if we can integrate and create that kind of space where students can really understand the beauty of this Indian knowledge system, how it is hidden inside and how you have to really bring it out, explicate and explore and do a lot of research and bring it to the light. That is the only mission our teachers have. So it becomes much relevant for us to integrate this IKS into teacher education curriculum. So we did it in the last revision. We were more ambitious rather. We said science, technology, yoga, medical science, everything we have put there. Though it is not cup of our tea, but we are just creating an awareness, because any student, right from schooling, ministry said, NEP said, there should be videos and lots of resources and repositories should be created on Indian knowledge system, and that they should be available for the children in the school. So children will be really learning them and understanding them. Similarly, teachers will also get acquaintance about that. Not only just reading, writing the examination, but let us develop the connections and reach out to the roots, find out what is the treasure within. So that treasure we have to explicate and explore, bring back to our classrooms, whether it is pedagogy. Your main banner is pedagogy. Pedagogies are there in all our Upanishad, talk about your collaborative learning, cooperative learning, inquiry learning, research-based learning, whatever you say in the modern times, it is already there. And technologies, we don't understand the technology at all. We are yet to reach to that level of technologies to understand those technologies. How Krishna and Arjun could communicate the whole Bhagavad Gita within that short time in Mahabharata. We need to understand what kind of technology, what kind of pedagogical strategies they had. I think we are yet to comprehend that kind of a strategic knowledge and strategies, pedagogies that they have used. So this is where I think the real crux of our teacher education has to take the reins and then start, really reaching out into the field and then sensitize people everywhere, create that kind of a energy amongst the teachers and see that whatever, I'm not saying that whole lot whatever we have put, we will be able to learn. Our purpose is only to create that kind of awareness and sensitization amongst the children or students and teachers, so that this kind of a discourse happen in the classroom. Then I think children, they may become somebody we don't know. We are only looking at engineer, doctor these days, but they may become great literary people, or they may become great interpreters, they may become great linguists, we don't know. So this kind of a sensitivity if we can create right at young age through these repositories, through our transfer of knowledge and training and other things in the schools. So this teacher is very, very important and precious for us. So this teacher has to be, trained and nurtured and carved in such a fashion. All this knowledge they should know, at least have an awareness about that. And sow these seeds in the minds and create that thought process, create that kind of analysis. There are so many pedagogies. That critical thinking, that analytical thinking, and interacting with these texts and literature that is available, and how do we create that spaces in the curriculum, that is more challenging for all of us. So let us not make again the same race of scores and grades and kind of things. Let us forget about these things. Create that kind of, now you have created one beautiful narrative there. So like that, you can create that as an environment. You can create that as a day-to-day life practice. I think that's where we can really create that sensitivity amongst the children, and this would be our future. Maybe this future we have to take care, and that future will take care of our knowledge systems, and our knowledge can never be misplaced or replaced or killed or kindled. Nothing will happen. This we have to really be very cautious and careful. So teachers are very, very important. So it's very, very essential that we have to integrate this knowledge. So like this, so many things are there. Next slide talks about how the Chanukyas, what is that? Arthashastra and Bhagavad Gita has been used by Modi ji in defense strategic management. He has used, and he was successful in the defense, and they have published a paper in 2021 also. So like that, we have here and there some traces. We are astonished with these traces. Imagine when we can really reach out to the whole bowl of that knowledge, which is infinite knowledge. Can we imagine where our happiness, our excitement, our thought process, our infinite, approach towards the whole cosmos, we can understand. If you see Sri Chakra and cosmos and see our body, there is a connect. We are like cosmos. Our human body is cosmos. So if I can understand how beautiful it would be for me, the cosmos is with me, I am cosmos. When they say all that in Bhagavad Gita, what is that we don't understand? But look at one Sri Chakra interpretation, look at one cosmic interpretations, and about your human body, how it is formed, whether it is Sankhya philosophy or some of the Puranic stories, they talk about this evolution and formation of human body. And in the Garbhopanishad, how they talk, how many cells, all this brain research they are talking about, how many cells are there in human brain, 50 to 60 million cells are there in the brain. In our human body, 70 to 80 trillion cells are there. How powerful we are, both at the mental space as well as in the body space. So this much of energy, this much of power, this much of, traits that are present in our body, which is equivalent to cosmos. That's why they said self, thyself, Atma, Antaratma, Paramatma. These connections we have to build in. That is what our spirituality talks. But it is very abstract for us because there is nobody who can really make us to understand. When you talk about Antas Chatush, what? I forgot. Antakarana Chatushtaya. Sometimes some words doesn't come. Antakarana Chatushtaya, if we can understand, connect it to Mandukya Upanishad. Like that, if we try to really travel in this stream of knowledge, we will be lost, and ultimately we realize knowledge is one, ultimate reality is one. So that they said in a simple way that we could not understand because we are not matured enough to understand that, infinity and infinite knowledge and thyself. How Brahma created this whole lot of things. They talk about the cosmic age, that is beautifully explained. One Brahma, 100 years, one day of Brahma, like that go on, 4.32 lakhs, billions of years is this cosmos which was created by Brahma. We don't know what is more than that, other Brahmas who created that, all that we don't know. So we have not seen that, we have not read that, we don't know anything about that. So when such infinite knowledge is available, where are we? So this is where we get so much restless, so much we have to learn. I am almost approaching my 60s. Now I came to know so many things. I don't have so much of time and I don't want to take another janma to learn these things. So this is something, very, very precious which we don't know. So it's really right time for us to educate the young minds so that they will have enough space, at least 60 years, 70 years, we don't know. They will start their journey. They will, something at least they will create a difference and show to the world, yes, this Vishwaguru was here. This is what is our knowledge. When you say this is not a, practice which is a kind of a religiosity or kind of practices that are, misconceptions. Lots of such things are there about our practices. So find the science behind, and it is beyond science. We read, some philosopher said, where science stops, there philosophy starts. So like that, spirituality is much beyond your philosophy also, then where do we stand? How do we understand? We are still little here, don't know anything. So it's a huge journey that we have to travel. So we have to stimulate the minds of the teachers and transfer this stimulation sensitivity to the younger generation in the schools. Then I think there is not long awaiting for us to see back Vishwaguru status to India. This is only our vision and mission and our Prime Minister's vision and mission. So we all will join our hands and do the best that we can do, because these all, I cannot do, these all known to all of you. And curriculum also, one slide I have kept, you know the curriculum, Usmania curriculum, there is little difference in the St.Ann's curriculum. But by and large, this all, cut across those kind of literary aspects or texts or whatever we have suggested. It's only just a bird eye view on what actually Indian knowledge system, right from Vedic to folklore, any disciplinary knowledge you take, all that knowledge is IKS. Whatever knowledge, whether it is scientific knowledge, scripted knowledge, textual knowledge, authoritative knowledge, or common man's knowledge, folklore, anything is under the gamut of IKS. So that is what I understand so far with my little knowledge. My teacher should clarify if I have gone wrong here and there. And another speaker is here, maybe he would say, lots to learn, lots to know, we know nothing. We have no idea what we have lost so far. So we need to really start this journey at least now, if not never. This would really give us lot of satisfaction and contentment. And at the end of the day, we will die with lot of happiness, contentment, maybe need not see the next birth. So that is my wish and vision for this IKS. IKS is wonderful. I don't know what to say. It's it's like an ocean where to start. She said Anadi. Sir also said Anadi. There is no end, there is no beginning to this knowledge. Knowledge is that. So like ocean, more than ocean probably, because this whole cosmos, everything is the knowledge that is there in IKS. So they made a small verse, that verse will tell you everything. So such a beautiful way of putting them in small way, whether it is Katapaya, the system, or when you talk about the Marmakala, Marma Chikitsa, what is that? So many things we are discovering. These are happening live in many Gurukulas across the country. Many places still people are struggling to stay back with this knowledge and store back this knowledge and keep back this knowledge, transfer this knowledge from generation to generation. There are many parents who are willing to send their children and preserve this knowledge. So it's really great gesture of the parents and children who are committed themselves to this transfer of knowledge from generation to generation. So we will be really elated if we go and visit any of such kind of Gurukulas where their efforts are, I cannot have a word to appreciate or acknowledge their efforts. So such works are happening across India. These are again, I say, drop in the ocean. So where do we start? How do we go ahead? This is a huge journey for all of us. So let us make a beginning. That is the only humble submission from my end, to make a beginning to this IKS and integrate it into teacher education. Thank you very much.
The National Education Policy 2020, introduced by the Government of India, aims to transform the educational landscape of our country. One of the key highlights of NEP 2020 is the emphasis on Indian knowledge system, which encompasses traditional wisdom, scientific insights, cultural practices developed over millennium. It also highlights the importance of research and training in IKS. Professor Mrinalini, in her session on the integration of Indian knowledge system into teacher education, focused on Indian knowledge system as an applied knowledge than mere textual knowledge. What ma'am focused on is what we are is Indian knowledge system. Indian knowledge is nothing but family knowledge. Madam emphasized that education system is properly balanced only with the integration of knowledge and skills in an appropriate manner. Just to inform you, ma'am, that we have introduced IKS as a 2-credit course into our B.Ed syllabus from this academic year onwards. We assure you, madam, we at St.Ann's College of Education will surely motivate our students to take up research on IKS and pass it on to our future generations. Thank you. All good things come to an end, so did this session of the two-day national seminar. On behalf of the management, staff and students of St. Anne's College of Education, I take this opportunity to thank Professor T. Mrinalini for bringing her expertise and experience to this session and engaging in fruitful, constructive and open exchanges in this session. We are really enlightened with your knowledge and presence, madam. Thank you, ma'am. At this point, we would like to felicitate Professor T. Mrinalini. Just a moment, we are waiting for our principal to come. I request Dr. Ruma Roy to felicitate Madam with a shawl. I request our principal, Dr. Professor Sister Mary Kuti, to give a gift to Miss Mrinalini. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Very inspiring your presentation was. We are indeed grateful that you accepted our invitation and have come here. Once again, thank you very much, ma'am. As we move on to the next session, we have amongst us Dr. Prasad, who will be highlighting the psychological dimensions inherent in Indian traditions and how they can be adapted to enhance teaching strategies. By examining ancient texts and philosophies, Dr. Prasad aims to uncover valuable psychological insights that promote holistic development and foster a deeper understanding of the self among students. I request Dr. Nirmala Chava to introduce Dr. Prasad.
Good afternoon, sir, and all the dignitaries on the dais. Hearty welcome to our national seminar, sir. I am privileged to introduce Professor J.S.R. Prasad, sir. He is a distinguished academician specializing in Indian knowledge system and Sanskrit studies from HCU. He is serving as a faculty member at the University of HCU, Hyderabad 2006 onwards. His research lies in the intersection of philosophy and Ayurveda, with a primary focus on Indian psychology and Indian research methodology grounded in Sanskrit studies. Professor Prasad collaborates with the institutions such as Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi, to develop courses that integrate these ancient knowledge systems into modern academia. His research interest explores the influence of food, diet, and nutrition on mental health, which is his tertiary focus, investigating the ancient education contributions to science and technology. His scholarly contributions include 27 journal articles, 2 book chapters, and multiple conference proceedings. His works have earned him accolades like Bejjanki Lakshmana Rao Dharmanidhi Award in 2011. Sir has a Google Scholar citation count of 47, H-index of 4, and a doctoral mentoring record of 8 PhD scholars. Professor Prasad continues to be a leading figure in the integration of ancient Indian wisdom with modern research methodologies. We welcome you, sir, to the session.
I request Dr. Mehboob Jan to felicitate Dr. Prasad.
Paratattvamrutasara Varshinim Atiharshinim Sri Venugopala Krishnakya Murti Matiharam Stumaha. Am I audible? So, first of all, my humble salutations to the great management of this wonderful college who are making teachers. I also did my B.Ed, but in Sanskrit medium. I was a student of Sanskrit University, Tirupati. Also, I congratulate the college management and the coordinator of this 2-day seminar, Professor Ruma Rai Madam, respected Principal Madam, other committee members who are all actively involved in realizing this IKS 2-day seminar. I'm a bit low in energies because of my brief illness, so please afford me if I sound very low. In fact, the previous speakers, in fact, I missed the sir's presentation because I came a bit late due to some vehicle problem. Madam Mrinalini ji has given a wonderful exposition of what is IKS. As I said rightly, IKS can be said as Anadi. Yes, because modern science and technologies, though they are very productive, they are building systems that are very useful for the humanity. The way we are increasing the facilities, for example, this computer, PPT, projector, all technological things, is the invention and discoveries of the science and technology. At the same time, there are destructive technologies also, destructive sciences also, maybe theoretically and practically. At this juncture, it is very much important for us to look into the alternative systems of sciences and technologies. This is where IKS comes into picture. Government of India started this IKS project recently, maybe some 4 years back, but our department, Department of Sanskrit Studies, has been working in this area for the last 18 years. 2006 we started this department in HCU. Basically I am a Sanskrit student, never exposed to any science, but the mandate of the department is to work in Sanskrit and science, not in literature. So this is how we ventured into the scientific aspects of Sanskrit texts and scriptures. As Madam rightly mentioned, several aspects of the IKS, starting from management, medical science, mathematics, agriculture, whatnot, economics, political science, all these ideas are there in the Sanskrit text. My humble submission to all of you here is, let us not affiliate IKS with any religious thing. IKS is not related to Hinduism. IKS is universal. I saw a statement here on the wall. In Lord Jesus Christ, I put in my trust. A small sticker put over there. That means we believe in God. All of us are threes here. That's the best thing, do you know? Because Charaka and Charaka Samhita says, Buddhiman nastikya buddhin jakyat. If you want to be an intellectual, don't be atheistic. Be a theistic person. I may worship Krishna. I may worship Jesus Christ. I may worship Allah. Whatever religion we belong to, basically we are all followers of God. We believe in some omnipotent reality beyond our human capacities. Because we have limitations as human beings. This is how IKS can be said as universal in nature. Whatever good is there in every religion, every religious text, let us imbibe and implement those values and ideas. That is how we can contribute more to the ancient knowledge systems, whether it is Indian or African or Sumerian, whatnot, whatever civilization you refer to. So one of these areas is psychology. Why Indian psychology is, in ancient India, seers have contributed a lot to the mind sciences. Because modern science, I can refer to Descartes, the French philosopher in 16th century. He says that mind is residing in the brain. It is like a flash or event is produced in the brain. Brain is a tangential thing. You can touch, you cut open and see the brain. Mind is not. Mind is not tangential in nature. This is where modern science failed to understand the function and concept of the mind. But whereas our ancient seers in India, they defined the function of mind very well. They invented the ideas of the mind in such a way that anybody can understand. Where I was referring to Antakarana Chatushtaya. What are these? If I say Manas, if I say Buddhi, if I say Chitta, if I say Ahankara, nobody understands. What if I convert these terms to scientific terms and say that all this Atma is like energy in terms of physics? This energy is basic innate energy which is becoming a innate awareness. This awareness is called Chaitanyam, which is flowing through the nervous system, brain nervous system. When I say this, a science student can be able to appreciate what I am talking. That means I am failing to convey my idea in the language that is understandable by the other. This is the only distinction that I would like to make with regard to IKS. All these ideas are very much there. So what Descartes said is, mind is there in the brain, which is in fact ridiculous. If I say mind is awareness, we can able to understand it easily. The entire energy is flowing at certain level. Lower level is called manas, mind. Little above level is called ahankara. Little one more level above to that is called chitta. The final level intellectual is called buddhi. If I say this, anybody can be able to understand easily. So this is how we need to put into the ideas. The translation of the things must be happening like this only. Then interaction happen between each other. Otherwise, ancient become ancient, modern becomes modern. Remains as it is. There is no change at all. So with regard to the current topic, next one. Thank you. So Lord Krishna, this one. Lord Krishna serving as Arjuna's charioteer and guide can be seen as a metaphorical psychologist and teacher. Krishna provides a profound psychological insights and solutions to Arjuna's moral dilemmas, issues related to duty, emotions, and the nature of the self. Sri Krishna is the foremost wise and insightful teacher, I can say. Krishnam Mande Jagadguru. There is a saying. Why he is called Jagadguru? Because the context is battlefield. Arjuna, the warrior who is supposed to lead the war from the side of the Pandavas, he is in dejection, he is totally depressed. How to motivate him? And God, Krishna, because he is a human incarnation. God, the thing comes later. Let me say human incarnation, because Jesus Christ is also human incarnation. He used the best counseling skills to convince Arjuna to fight the war. Initially, he said about pravritti, then he mentioned about nivritti. Two things. What is pravritti? Your worldly duties are pravritti. He mentioned it. Being a kshatriya, being a warrior, you have to fight. You should not shy away, and you should not escape from the battlefield just by thinking that they are kin are being killed. And he teaches how the relations are temporal, they are not permanent. My grandfather, my father, my brother, my sister, all is my. He cuts off this illusion from the mind of Arjuna. When he is still in dilemma, he shows his cosmic form, the Vishwarupa. Such a way, he gave a wonderful counseling on the battlefield. Can we imagine any best teacher than Krishna? Such a context. He himself was composed Krishna. He was not, in fact, under the influence of the context. That is why I say that he is the best teacher and he is the guru of the gurus. Next one, please. So, Arjuna is called as Nara. The word Nara also stands for the human race. The human being is always between angel and demon. Anishtam Ishtam Mishrancha, Gita says. What does it mean? Humans are having both mixed qualities, good and bad. Devatas, angels are only having good qualities. Whereas demons are having all bad qualities. That is why they are in the nether worlds. The angels are in the upper worlds. We are in the middle world called Martyaloka. So we are with, nobody is completely bad, nobody is completely good. That is why we are human beings. Here Arjuna is a Nara. So that is applicable to all of us. This Arjuna, each of us is Arjuna. Krishna's message is not only meant for that person of the Pandavas, one of the brothers of among the Pandavas, but Arjuna is everybody. This is applicable to entire humanity. That is so we need to understand why this message is given. And the fertile soil doesn't need fertilizer. The rocky soil also does not need a fertilizer because there is no use in applying fertilizer. So what does that mean? It is referring to two characters. Anybody can ask a question. I don't know whether you have developed this question so far. Why Gita is taught only to Arjuna? Not to somebody else. Why not Yudhishthira or why not Bhima? Forget about Nakula Sakadeva. They are small and they are not that experienced on comparison with the elder brothers. Why not others? This is the answer. The fertile soil does not need fertilizer. This is referring to Yudhishthira. He is full of sattva guna. Full of sattva means knowledge. It doesn't require any preachings. He can just follow ethics, dharma. Whereas the rocky soil also does not need fertilizer because nothing can be cultivated there. This is like Bhima. He is full of tamas. Whereas Arjuna is full of rajas. This is how God chosen a person who is best to be taught. That means all of us are in that particular stage. So Gita is preached for the entire humanity, and Arjuna is very closely associated with Krishna and does not need any spiritual guidance. For the sake of us only, Arjuna was asking all these questions. The first 6, second 6, third 6. There are 3 triads in Bhagavad Gita. 18 chapters, 6 plus 6 plus 6. They represent Jnana, Bhakti and Karma Yogas. Unfortunately, in the world, people take it otherwise. They start with Karma Yoga, then they come to Bhakti Yoga, then they say Jnana Yoga. These words are not exclusive to Hinduism only. Please, let me humbly remind you. These words are not related to Hinduism. Jnana is knowledge, Bhakti is emotion, and Karma is action. Where is religion here? That is how he brought into picture what need to be done by a person who is in action. Next one please. So this is the essence of Gita. Approach the Sadguru. Now we are all teachers here. Guru, why he is called Guru? Kukaras andhakarasyat rukarasta nirodhakaha. Andhakara nirodhitva gururitya vidhiyate Gu, the character, syllable gu represents darkness, ignorance. The one who removes the darkness or ignorance is called Guru, Ru. So all teachers are not gurus. So you approach Sadguru only. There are many gurus, but Sadgurus are few. Of course, nowadays we see so many Sadgurus, Babas, who proclaim themselves as God. We don't talk about those fellows. And when a guru teaches, he keeps in mind three categories of students. Three categories. That is what Charaka says. I am quoting from Charaka Samhita. The next line. Trivida Sishya Buddhi Hitam. There are three types of categories of students. Uttama, the best, Madhyama, the mediocre, and the Adhama, the inferior. So a teacher must keep in mind when he or she teaches anything to the audience, keeping these different levels of students in mind. We have to cater to all those needs only. Dr. Sindhu knows it well because she worked on mathematics. She is from our university, did her PhD. So you have to keep in mind about these categories of students so that you are a successful teacher. You become successful in profession only when you recognize the needs of the students and present accordingly. Simply taking a text and reading it out, it is not teaching. A great teacher inspires, as per the quotation. Then as part of this learning, listening is the first. You are all doing education and you are taught education psychology here. There are 4 levels of learning you mentioned, listening, speaking, reading and writing. Listening is very, very important. Madam was telling about Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. First of all, you should listen something first so that there is a samskara in us, so that you store it in our chittam. Then you retrieve it back so that it becomes a permanent memory. So, this listening is very, very important and SRW are part of that listening. Then you interpret whatever you have listened so far, you should interpret. Don't simply listen and forget. After interpretation, should also analyze it. Analysis is very, very required. That is why Vimrishya, Etad, Aseshena, Edhechasi, Tadhakuru. These are the words spoken by Krishna to Arjuna at the end of Gita, Just because I showed you cosmic form, just because I proclaim myself as God, as you have seen the cosmic visions in me, don't believe whatever I said. You analyze. There is no compulsion from the human incarnation. He is suggesting. You do the analysis, then only you believe. This is applicable to all of us. Next one, please. So now I come to another aspect of wonderful sayings in Gita. Karmane vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturphuhu ma desangostva karmani. All of us are more or less, we heard this shloka, but unfortunately we misinterpret this shloka. Ma phaleshu kadachana means you don't have interest in the fruit. No. You are working, you are performing the action. At the same time, you are not attached to the result of the fruit. Don't be attached to the result of the fruit. How that can be mentioned in scientific terms? Next one, please. So, please stay back. Let me quote Q is equal to E plus W, the first law of thermodynamics. I am not a science student. Please correct me if I go wrong. I don't know. But I am trying to quote from my guru. Q is equal to E plus W. How many of you know this? Raise your hand, students. So can you tell what it means? Can you tell what it means? What does it mean? Excellent. So I'm going to come there. Next one, please. So Q is equal to E plus W is a law of thermodynamics. Q is the heat supplied to the body through food. I'm adding more information there. What you said. E is the rise. Energy is the rise in the towards something else. If this way we teach students, the purpose of Gita, the purpose of scriptures, the ideas that are part of IKS, anybody can appreciate, is it not? So it means, yeah. Similarly, yeah, next one. The answer is printed in the brain as soon as you hear the teaching in the class. The answer will be displayed on the mind screen if Q is not wasted raising the energy. We need to bring in application part. In IKS, what we need to do is, everything is written in a codified form, sutras kind of thing, shlokas kind of thing. But this knowledge need to be interpreted, analyzed this way. Then only it makes sense. Otherwise, it is simple shloka written in some chaddas, some meter. Doesn't make any sense. You know. This is so. We need to bring in the ideas into the classroom. Next one, please. Now I come to another idea. There is a comparison between Kohlberg's 3 types of classification and karma, dharma kind of concepts in our Shastras. So Kohlberg theory of moral development provides a framework for understanding how individuals evolve their moral reasoning or moral development from childhood through adulthood. This theory is structured around 6 stages, which are further grouped into 3 levels: pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. These 3 levels he mentions. Each stage represents a distinct mode of thinking about right and wrong, influenced by an individual's cognitive development and social interactions. Next one, please. I will give you examples. The first level, pre-conventional level. The first level is based on obedience to authority and the avoidance of punishment. We follow rules and regulations as a system. The second is conventional level, that is involves moral reasoning that focuses on societal norms and maintaining order. At this level, adherence or conformity to social rules gains precedence. Self-interest takes a backseat and adherence to social relationships gains focus. One trivial example, we travel in the city bus. These seats are meant for women only. But many men go and sit over there. They don't follow rules. If I am vacating a seat when somebody comes, meant for that purpose, I am a good man. In fact, I am not a good man. Why should I go and sit over there first of all? Okay, in this current scenario, I may be relatively good. But if I don't vacate the seat, that is unethical. I am going against the rule. Apart from this, I am sitting in my own seat, which is not reserved. A woman standing next to me. If I vacate the seat and offer the seat to her, that is not called as rule and regulation. It is called dharma. I act as per my own dharma. I need not to give because seat is not reserved for her. So how far this dharma is also prevailing in our lifestyle, that is the second stage, we can say conventional level. And post-conventional level is, according to Kohlberg, very few people are able to reach this level. Individuals judge morality based on basic human rights and justice. At this stage, moral reasoning is based on universal principles. In this stage, individual perspective is given more importance over social rule and order. Next one, please. There are examples here. Yeah, here is an example. A child may avoid lying because they fear punishment. This reflects a basic understanding of karma. Because if you do a wrong, for that you have to undergo a consequence. Because our current life is the replica of our past deeds. Our past karma governs our current actions. Where a negative action leads to a negative consequence, the child is motivated by self-interest but also acknowledges the cause and effect nature of actions. You know, this is how he tries to define the pre-conventional level. Whereas at the moral reasoning is guided by rewards and punishments, similar to the law of karma in Indian psychology. Because Ravana underwent his own karma, Duryodhana, Kauravas, because they did wrong. Maybe it is delayed, the justice is delayed, but justice is not denied. There is a kahavat in Hindi, Bhagavan ki, देर होता है लेकिन अंधेर नहीं. So something like this. So this is the effect of an impact of karma, you know. That is why this first stage can be correlated with regard to this pre-conventional level. Next one, please. So this is second level. This is related to dharma. An individual might follow the law, seeing it as necessary for maintaining social order, similar to the idea of dharma, acting in a way that supports the well-being of society and adhering to one's role and responsibilities. Little variation is there. Earlier you have a fear. There are rules and regulations. Here there is some system that is prevailing on ethical grounds. This is the basic distinction between the previous level and this level. So next one, please. Post-conventional. This is a person might refuse to participate in violence or harmful actions, even if pressured by others. This reflects both Kohlberg's post-conventional level and ahimsa, where the individual acts according to their moral convictions of non-violence and respect for all life, regardless of societal expectations. Two things are very important here, ahimsa and satya. Now, our young students are here. Would I ask, if I ask you to vote for ahimsa or satya, which one you vote? Tell me. Satya? This side? Satya only. May I know why? Why not ahimsa? You know it, but you cannot justify. Right? You are not able to justify. Let me tell you that ahimsa is far, far superior than satyam. I will give you a very small story, very inspirational story. There is a hermitage, a sage is doing penance. And a person who is being chased by thieves came running to his hermitage and he take refuge in his hermitage. And you know, he went to the bushes, was hiding himself over there. The thieves came and asked the sage, a man came running here, did you see him? Yes, he is there. Because he has to speak truth only. He is there. These people who went there, they dragged him out, took out all the property, money, everything. They killed and went out. After some time, this fellow died, this sage died. Directly was taken to the hell, not to heaven. He asked, hey, what you are doing? All throughout my life, I spoke truth only. I did not have anybody. I spoke truth alone. Then they said, because of speaking truth only, you are here. Because human life is more precious than speaking truth. You could have told that I don't know. Is it not? Or my Guruji funnily told, the eyes that the sea cannot speak, the mouth that speak cannot see. They scratch their head and go off. They don't know what happened. You know, there are mechanisms to escape so that a human life, precious life is saved. Saving human life is more important than speaking truth in that context, right? That is why ahimsa is very, very important. Ahimsa paramo dharmaha, Veda says, not truth. Thank you. So next one, please. So this is the summary, whatever I mentioned so far. Maybe how much time left, madam? Okay. Can I complete 5 minutes? Then 5 more minutes, my student will present a very important aspect that relate to all your profession and studies. I will come to that part by finishing this. The next one, please. Leadership skills. I saw your vision and mission on the website, St.Ann Scholars of Education. You mentioned about critical thinking, leadership skills, all those as part of our vision and mission. So once we follow these ideas and we try to put into our classroom or into the curriculum or syllabi, definitely it helps us both the teacher and student. Because in Charaka Samhita, Charaka mentioned about the test of the student, not only test of student, but also teacher. Shishya Pariksha, along with that, he mentioned Guru Pariksha. Just by passing the net exam, we are becoming gurus. But olden days is not a system. You should be qualified. There is a test for that, like litmus test. You know, that way, all these will correlate with your vision and mission when you try to bring in these ideas. The area is so vast, in fact, I cannot bring in all those within a limited amount of time. I apologize for the same thing. Then decision making, the integrity. Next one, please. Next one, please. Next one. So problem focused coping skills. This is part of psychological discussions. So Arjuna seeks guidance from Krishna to address his moral dilemma, and he uses Krishna's teachings, Bhagavad Gita, to resolve inner conflict and act based on dharma during the Kurukshetra war. More or less, we discussed this in the very beginning itself. Next one. The social coping skills. Draupadi, very important and interesting character. So she did help to Krishna long back. When Krishna was eating a sugar cane, his finger is cut off. Then immediately she tore her sari, which she wear for the purpose of sitting in Rajasuya Yaga. That is called Diksha. She is sitting in that Diksha, and new clothes should not be torn. If you torn, you will get Daridra. You will become total pauper. That is what happened later. But she did not care. All 8 wives of Krishna were running helter and shelter to bring some cloth, but this lady simply tore off her sari and tied to the finger. Because of that service to God, God has given her infinite number of saris when she was disrobed in the court. You know, God reciprocates infinitely when you are having no aspiration. This is the purpose. Then Sugriva forms a meaningful friendship with Sri Rama for mutual support. They are helping each other. Next one. So this is the detailed psychological terminology we have used. Spiritual coping strategies, how Draupadi come over all the problems. This is a story I don't want to mention because of lack of the time. Durvasa and all. Probably some of you are aware also. Then Krishna support in this already I just mentioned. Next one. Ekalavya is also, he was in fact rejected by Drona because Arjuna must be highlighted. He is the hero in the Mahabharata war, whereas Ekalavya was not a part of that scene. His time comes later in next birth. That is why God minimized his role. So of course there are movies etc. about the Ekalavya's role and Drona's cheating on him etc. There are all debates. In fact, this is not truth. Each and every epic, whatever happened in those episodes, there is a meaning that we need to understand thoroughly by analysis. Vimrisha etad aseshena yadhechasi tadhakuri, as Krishna mentioned to Arjuna. Maybe I am stopping here and I will ask my student research scholar Subhashish to present briefly for 5 minutes. I apologize for any inconvenience. Thank you.
Hello. I will address a unique issue which is from Ayurveda. It is called Pragya Aparadha. So the title is Pragya Aparadha Impacts on Teaching Methods and Learning Outcomes. Next, please. Yeah. So here is the definition from Ayurveda. I am not discussing the sloka. It means the misunderstanding by the intellect, and the activities through this misunderstanding is called intellectual error or pragya aparadha. And manaso gocharam hi tat means mind knows about this. So actually you are knowingly doing some inauspicious work. And what is why it is called aparadha or error? Because any activities caused by this error will be harmful either to you, environment, or both. So this shloka says the 3 causal factors of pragya aparadha. Next, please. Yes. So these are 3 causal factors of pragya aparadha: dhi bhrashtaha, dhriti bhrashtaha, and smriti bhrashtaha. It means defective intelligence, defective restraint, and defective recall or memory. Next. So, defective intelligence refers to the derangement of understanding. So, in which you fail to understand what is good, what is bad, what is eternal, what is non-eternal, what you should do, what you should not do. This confusion is called dhi-vrashtaha. Now, the dhriti vrashtaha, it refers to derangement of willpower. The mind cannot be restrained from undesirable objects. So, actually, you are unable to control yourself. And the last one is defective memory. It refers to memory derangement because when the mind becomes clouded with passion and delusion, the retention of actual knowledge is destroyed. Next. And now the impact, the reflection on actions. So Ayurveda says there are three type of action. We can say the intellectual error or the error. So the manasika, vachika and sharirika means psychological action, verbal action and physical action. And each types has three subtypes. So ati yoga, ayoga and mithya yoga. So psychological action and it's ati yoga. Like for example, if say anger, if you are excessively angry every time, so it is not good. And if you are not angry at all, that is also not good. If you are angry, if you are getting improper environment, so that is mithya yoga. So these are the action. So next please. Yes. So these are the broad aspects, thinking and behavior. So thinking part is like excessive anger, fear, greed, pride. So these are all errors only. And behavioral part like exhibition of your physical strength, antisocial behavior, risky behaviors and so on. And verbal like verbal abuse, disrespecting respected ones and so on. Next. Now the impact or the effect in teaching, this error can lead to cognitive biases like misjudging student needs based on the teacher's own experiences. So the teacher may actually he or she can fail to understand what a student actually needs. And the rigid methods, failure to adapt to new learning technologies. Not all technologies are bad. Yes, all old things are gold, but not all old things are gold. You have to adapt the new things. If you fail to adapt, if the new technologies are helpful, so you should adapt. If you are not adapting, that is also an error. And the assessment errors, like you are judging a student only with based on the result score, that is also error. And the effect on students, they may feel disengaged or stressed when teaching methods are misaligned with their needs. Yes, and that can reduce their critical thinking aspect, and it's gradually can increase the learning anxiety. Next. Yes. So Pragyaparada also can increase stress, anxiety, depression, and it can lead to poor quality of life. So what we can do is we should be aware of this error. We should know what is happening, what is the misleading things. So the awareness can, after identifying the awareness, we can improve. And next is regular self-assessment we should do. And adaptivity, yes, this is the most important thing. The trait called openness to change, we should adapt this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir and Subhash. Is there any questions, my dear students and participants from various institutions? We can take those questions. Please write it on a piece of paper and pass it. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your efforts to do research in Indian knowledge system and integrating it with Indian psychology and Western psychology also. Now we are all Arjunas. Are you? You have enlightened our students' minds to become Uttama students. Yes or no? I know everyone is hungry. Please voice out. Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for the Gita Saramsham and morality and karma, the essence of Gita. We have learned and enlightened our students with Gita Saramsha, cause and effect. And my dear students, again I would like to say, don't be attached to anything. Think about your duty. Okay? Leave your emotions whenever you are performing your duty. Okay? Thank you, sir. And also, I would like to thank Subhash. Defective intelligence, defective restraint, and defective memory. I think these will come with overworking, overindulging on something else. Then only we forget certain things. Our memory goes on somewhere else. I used to say to my students, your mobile is full, your mind is nil. Whenever you store it in your mobile, you cannot reflect, you cannot think. So that an enlightenment also we have got. My dear students, again, thank you, sir, for this Ati Yoga, Ayoga, Mita Yoga, Ati Sarvatra Vajayet. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a really wonderful presentation. We got to know some very new things which we are not aware of. We will now break for lunch. I would request all the participants, guest participants, to go to the Anand Bhavan, and all the students to be comfortable in the nature, lap of nature. So you can go to the gazebo or the outside there for your lunch. I once again request all the participants guest participants to move to Anand Bhavan. You will be escorted. We have our students who can escort you